grading every single Premier League club from this weekend's Premier League fixtures. We're going to start off with the big ones, Spurs versus Liverpool. Spurs second in the league, unbeaten, looking like a beautiful free-flowing side, looking like a side that is completely relieved of pressure. Even if they came second, fourth, third, won the FA Cup, lost the FA Cup, I feel there's a level of pressure away from Spurs, and it's all because of Ange Postecoglou, his approach to the media, his approach to playing Udogie, trusting someone as young as him. He's come straight into the side, he's been fantastic. Trusting Richarlison still. I think there's a level of feel-good optimism around the Richarlison decision. Some other managers would have been ruthless with Richarlison. And then James Maddison is everything Spurs is about. He's the Glenn Hoddle of this modern Spurs era, and I absolutely love it, no question about it. And the refereeing decisions, we'll talk about them when we come to Liverpool, but it's not Spurs' fault. Weirdly, had Spurs fans kind of at me on Twitter suggesting it was Spurs' fault that the VAR stuff happened. Spurs fans will use any opportunity to make it about them. I've been so positive about Spurs all season. They're absolutely fantastic. Second in the league. It's an A+ for Spurs this weekend. Moving on to Liverpool, what can I say? They battled with 9 men for what, 20 odd minutes, I think it was, 15, 20 minutes. Absolutely admirable. Their quality going forward with 10 men. The Diaz goal, it is a goal in my opinion. It currently is in limbo, doesn't go on the record books, but it is a perfectly good goal. Was world class. I thought McAllister, Endo when he came on, fantastic. Gakpo's finish. Liverpool would have won the game with 11 men in my opinion. Maybe Spurs fans would disagree. That's just my opinion. And Liverpool, despite being literally cheated out of the game, are only a few points off City and they are still in the top 4. So they're lucky that this weekend's match round has been generous because of Wolves beating Man City. Obviously, I'll be covering that game later in the video. I have to give Liverpool an A for their performance. Yet there's a slight dip because of maybe Jota being a little bit naive. Still think it was far too soft to send him off. Curtis Jones, it's not fair to criticise that. The Matip own goal was never ideal. I think he was more unlucky than anything else. It's got to be an A for Liverpool. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. Would really appreciate that. Let's move on to Aston Villa. This league is absolutely incredible. Newcastle smashed Villa. Brighton smashed Newcastle. Villa smashed Brighton. It's just everything you need to know about the quality of this league, that all these sides can decimate each other. And the reality is that Villa gave De Zerbi a real lesson, especially defensively. The one criticism you'd have of Brighton at points is they are a little bit fallible at the back, and that's not their fault. The Estupiñán goal, not their fault. And ultimately, Villa are just outside the Champions League spots, just behind Liverpool. Only lost a couple of games this season, and have been absolutely impeccable since an early loss to Newcastle, which could have easily rocked the club. And someone like Ollie Watkins, who started the season a little bit slow, his quality of finishing, his link up with Diaby, Ramsey just behind him, they've got a real force of a side, Aston Villa, and Unai Emery's getting better and better. And he'll look at the league and think, Man United have dropped off again. He'll look at the league and think, Chelsea are nowhere near. I've got a great chance here to get Villa 5th or 4th, which would be, again, an impeccable result. Diaby, I'm in love with the kid. And Ollie Watkins, again, he is booking a place on the plane to Euro 2024. If it was my opinion, it's Ivan Toney ahead of him for what he can do on the ball. But Ollie Watkins is getting very, very close to being Harry Kane's kind of second choice striker behind Harry Kane. It's an A+ from Aston Villa. What a result this weekend. Brighton, you have to take in the context. In this video, I will be making it all contextual as well. Brighton are only 6th. They're miles ahead of Man United, Chelsea. They just pumped Man United only a few weeks ago. We'll give them a C. It's not a catastrophic result because every now and then Brighton are going to be limited by their squad having to make rotations. They're doing very, very well and they're still punching above their weight. Man United, going to cover them very quickly. Let's put it this way. It wasn't the Glazers' fault that Man United looked abysmal against Crystal Palace, lacking in ideas, lacking in creativity. I think the Marcus Rashford discussion has always been there for me. Is he good enough to take Man United up to the levels of City and Liverpool and Arsenal? Not in my opinion. The Anderson goal is absolutely fantastic. I think he's unbeaten in 4 now at Old Trafford, which is like the longest winning record or something for a manager in the Premier League at Old Trafford for Roy Hodgson. Doing very, very well. So it's definitely it's an A for Crystal Palace. It's a major result away from home. And it's always good for a side like Palace to get these away wins because look, they're not going to be winning every single game this season. They're probably not going to win the FA Cup. So these away days for Palace are really special. Man United, it's D. I mean, they're basically getting a point a game. They're mid-table at the moment. They're behind Palace. They're behind West Ham and Brighton and Villa. It's pathetic. And Ten Hag has got serious work to do. I think he's one of the most overrated managers in the world. And that's just my opinion. It's a D- for Man United. Wolves 2, Man City 1. What can I say about this? It's absolutely crazy. I think Wolves are a fantastic side relative to the investment in that squad. I think Hwang's improved in the last few weeks. Cunha, I like him. He was very, very good against Liverpool. And of course, Neto as well. Even Lamina as well. They've got a few players. Actually, the centre-halves as well. Fantastic. And the keeper. You can see with Gary O'Neill, they've all improved by 5-10% every week. He's got a squad that's more than capable of staying in the league because they've all resonated with his message. He knows how to set a side up. He knows how to be astute and realise the weaknesses even of a great Man City side. And he picked up on it. Of course, with the Calvin Phillips-Rodri situation, there was neither. So it was Nunes who definitely shied away from the power of Wolves' midfield at points. Wolves are doing really, really well relative, again, to how bad it looked like at the start of the season. I think they'll coast to kind of 14th, 15th. They're 14th at the moment. That's not bad. I think it's just a season of stability for Wolves. Have to give them an A for their performance against Man City. It was absolutely fantastic. A little commentary on Man City. I talked about it more in depth on the channel, so make sure you check that out. But it was really, really poor. I have to give it a D. Really, really flat. Lacking in creativity. I don't think Phil Foden did enough. Alvarez, Haaland, or Doku. So the front four really not really contributing enough. There was not enough control in midfield. It was a really, really poor performance. But these kind of D results for Guardiola, they do turn around. And the side does usually get completely torn a new one by Guardiola. And it might be the worst result for Arsenal because, there's no shock factor now. We know that City are beatable. They're no longer invincible. That might make it harder for Arsenal to beat City next week. Obviously, I'll be doing loads of content around that, so make sure you subscribe. Everton 1, Luton 2. To be the side to lose to Luton in their first ever Premier League win, it is the most embarrassing, poor result of the weekend. I'm sorry. It's a U for Everton. Beto missed big chances. I'm looking through their kind of midfield, the way they kind of had to get back in the game against Luton and even defensively so open. And Morris for Luton looks absolutely fantastic. He's getting up to a bit of speed. If he can randomly get 8-9 goals and they can kind of just be ugly and beat sides around them, they might have a small glimmer of hope of staying in this league. And it's weird because they're above Burnley and Sheffield United. And thankfully above Bournemouth. Have to give Luton an A-star, an A+. Very, very special result in many ways for them. Look, there'll be a debate if it's enough for them to stay up, but it's a great result nonetheless. Bournemouth absolutely smashed by Arsenal. They're a really poor side. And you look at Gary O'Neill getting the most out of Billing, for example. Getting the most out of Solanke last season. I don't think Areola's doing that at the moment. So you can see the averageness of that squad. It's a D for Bournemouth. And you have to give a massive bit of credit to Arsenal. Going to give them a B. They should be beating Bournemouth. And they're now third. And they're behind Spurs, just behind City. They're keeping up pressure. And the City results made it all flat at the top. City still top, but Spurs, Arsenal, Liverpool, all in and around it. It's actually really open the Premier League title race. If they beat City, it will be an A-star ×2. But beating Bournemouth away, it was expected. Saka looking on fire. It's a B for Arsenal. Forest 1, Brentford 1. It's a B for both sides. Good away point for Brentford. And fair play to Forest because they're picking up points. They're just behind Man United. It's probably, again, it's a U for the refereeing. Turner on Wizza. Wizza's a fantastic player. He's electric. And Turner fouls him. And of course, VAR gets that wrong as well. Sets the tone for the whole weekend. It's not just Spurs, Liverpool. It's the lower level games as well that are all being affected by this incredible, disgusting technology in football. So it's a U for the referees, U for every referee in this league. And a 1-1 draw is fair. I think Brentford, going away from home, don't have the best away record in the world. Yeah, fair play. One comment, I don't think Turner's good enough for Nottingham Forest. I really don't. West Ham 2, Sheffield United 0. Jared Bowen looking good. West Ham keeping up the wins that they should be getting. And I've been really impressed with West Ham. If they come 7th or 8th this season, which look, they're currently 7th, it's a very, 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 very good season for West Ham, especially if they have another good Europa League campaign. So they're doing very, very well. Give them a B. It is Sheffield United. They're absolutely shocking. Just got pumped last week. And Sheffield United rock bottom of the league. It's a D for them. It's a D in the context of I know they're hamstrung by really poor ownership. The change there is really poor. Heckingbottom's a little bit out of his depth. What can he do? What can he do? It's really, really unlucky for Sheffield United. Very similar for Newcastle. They should be beating this Burnley side. Burnley are really, really poor. A 2-0 win for Newcastle. They've scored, 10 goals against the newly promoted side. Says everything you need to know. It's a B for them, and it's another D for the promoted sides. Burnley, where's that win coming from? Where's the result coming from? Really concerned as a Vincent Kompany fanboy. Maybe they'll turn it around. They need something against an Everton. They need something against a Luton of this world. Burnley-Luton is a game in this league. That's where the Premier League is, by the way. But that's my gradings for the weekend. Let me know what you think. If you've watched this far, please like the video. Make sure you subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. And I'll see you very, very soon.